Capital Budgeting by Deja Jones. Identification. Now, why is capital budgeting so important? Reason being, it helps decide which investment opportunities to pursue, and investing can be great when the potential to make a lot of revenue is there. Now, the ultimate goal of capital budgeting is to determine the effect of the decision to accept or reject a project on the firm's cash flows and to evaluate the MVP of these cash flows to assess the consequences of the decision for the firm's value. Now, I know that was a lot. To break it down, a basic definition is the process of analyzing projects and investment opportunities and deciding which ones to accept based off of that information. Explanations. The capital budgeting process. Now, here's the process for the capital budgeting. Step 1. You compile a list of potential projects. Step 2. You forecast each project's future consequences by all departments, which affects the revenues and costs. And I say all departments like the marketing department, the operations department, the engineering department, all those different departments will have a specific thing that they are measuring. And now step 3 is to look at past projects from the firm or other firms in the same industry and, compare the information. Step 4, consider the consequences of the project for the firm's earnings. Step 5, begin analysis to determine the incremental earnings, which tells how the decision will affect the firm's reported profits from an accounting perspective. Then, step 6, you will use those incremental earnings to forecast the actual cash flows of the project. And finally, step 7, if the project has a positive NPV, which stands for net present value, then most firms continue with accepting the project. Application. Now, since these are information used to determine whether to accept or reject, I would assume that entry-level professionals will not be dealing with those type of decisions. Now, the use that mid-level professional is quite different. In the textbooks, I read a quote that said, "We often depend on different experts within the firm to obtain these estimates of consequences for the firm." It said experts. Experts to me would be mid-level professionals on up. Now, these experts can include marketing managers, operations managers, and even engineering managers. Now, used at the executive level professional, a person would be presented with the final results from the mid-level professional, and there are several real options that can be made from that executive level professional, which is like the final decision. They can choose to accept. They have the option to delay. They also have the option to expand, and they even have the abandonment option where they just don't want to accept. Ethics. How to deal with an ethical issue if it came up. Here's a scenario. An operations manager gave a higher number for estimated production costs on purpose so that the firm would pass on accepting the project even though it would have made the firm a lot of money. Then he quit. Now, if I was a manager in this situation dealing with this other operations manager, I would definitely have to just jot down the information, see how the operations was handled, because there's always a level or a ladder where information goes up and is passed on. So I would just backtrack and figure out exactly where things went wrong, and then I would just deal with the situation from there. It may be easy to seem like, okay, I want to get this person back, but I just know revenge is not something that I should do. So I would just have to take the loss and learn from it. And maybe there was something in the hiring process that I didn't see with this person, because things like that managers should be able to pick up on, because the company is at stake. So if we have employees that aren't really there for the business, then we have to let them go instead of letting them attack us from within. Biblical perspective. Now, knowing that someone personally hurt you is probably really hard to deal with, and it may be easy to try and seek revenge. However, I know that revenge is not of God. I know that the battle is not mine, it's the Lord's. I know that God is going to take care of everything. I know God doesn't want me to retaliate. Now, Luke 6:27 and 29 says, "But to who are listening, I say, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who mistreat you. If someone slaps you on one cheek, turn to them the other also. If someone takes your coat, do not withhold your shirt from them." New International Version. And this is my reference.